Hi everyone, Dr. Suneel, Dhand, medical doctor. Welcome to another video. I want to talk about intermittent fasting, also known as time-restricted eating, and specifically how it has been a game changer for me. And I want to talk about my journey, and perhaps this can help anybody else out there who is considering implementing a strategy of intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating. Let's back up for a moment. What is intermittent fasting, time-restricted eating? You've probably already heard of this and watched videos on this, I suspect, if you're a regular watcher of my channel. But I want to really talk about my own journey because this isn't something that I had actually done until relatively recently. Probably at some point last year, I decided to experiment with it more. Now, the first thing to say is that this is most commonly talked about these days in the context of, and I'm going to write here on the whiteboard, fat loss. Yes, weight loss. It can be absolutely amazing for that. Now, personally, I didn't need to lose weight. I have an optimal weight and I didn't even need to lose body fat. My body fat percentage is in the ideal range. I did it for metabolic health benefits, but I won't talk so much about that because that research is all out there based on giving your metabolism a rest, how good it is for you as opposed to waking up in the morning and starting eating right away. But in terms of weight loss and fat loss, which I suspect is why most people are using it nowadays, it is great for a couple of reasons. Firstly, most obviously, if you're fasting, you're not consuming calories. So that tips the calorie balance equation in anybody's favor. In fact, that's how any weight loss strategy works. But also importantly, it keeps hormone levels low. And specifically, this hormone here, insulin. Of course, I talk about insulin a lot. It is the hormone that is secreted by anybody's pancreas to immediately lower blood sugar levels. So if you have a carbohydrate load or a sugar load, your pancreas secretes insulin. And the problem with modern day society and the metabolic health catastrophe that we have is that the vast majority of people are insulin resistant, and insulin is a fat storage hormone. So anything which keeps your insulin levels low, whether it's a dietary strategy like optimizing protein, cutting back on carbs, or intermittent fasting, because if you're fasting, your pancreas won't be stimulated. Anything that helps to keep insulin levels low will obviously really help with weight loss. So that's the first thing that I would like to stress right there. The principle of why time-restricted eating and intermittent fasting is good, not only for weight loss, but also, even if you don't want to lose weight, for resting your metabolism. So what did I do? Well, thinking back, I previously, like most people, I would wake up and I would usually eat within an hour of waking up. And it might even be sooner than that. If I was rushing to work, I would pick something up. And it often was something which was heavier in carbs and sugars, at least while I was growing up. That was typically the case. I mean, how many people did that? A sugary cereal. But I really changed things up within the last 12 to 18 months. So I decided that I would implement a time-restricted eating, intermittent fasting strategy. Now, there's many different ways this can be done. But basically, what I wanted to do was push my first meal of the day as back as possible. So I would still hydrate myself. I would still have a cup of tea, but I wouldn't have any food and I would push the time back. So I did this slowly, which I would recommend for anybody out there. If you're trying this strategy, never do anything dramatically, never put your body under stress that it's not used to. So I would eat an hour later. So instead of eating at 7:30, I started eating at 8:30, then I pushed it to 9:30, 10:30, etc. And recently, actually last week, I posted this picture of me in the hospital and it was around 2 p.m. and I hadn't eaten and I was about to eat my first meal of the day. And I said that I had technically been fasting since 8 p.m. the night before. So that was 16 hours. And I was about to eat and I felt great. I felt full of energy and I absolutely never could have imagined doing this a couple of years ago. It's amazing what anybody's body can adapt to. I do this probably 3 or 4 times a week. I mean, this isn't something that I rigidly do every day, but I do it purely because I've seen amazing metabolic health benefits to instituting this type of strategy. Now, in terms of intermittent fasting, coming back to that strategy, a good technique that a lot of people utilize predominantly in the fat loss world is to have an 8-hour or 6-hour eating window. So they may have their first meal at noon and then their last meal at 6 or 8 p.m., but there'll be a 6 to 8 hour window of eating. And what that will mean is that your metabolism is rested and you're restricting eating to that small period, and you will be fasting for 16 or 18 hours. And it's fantastic not only for reducing total calorie intake, which in most people is absolutely ridiculous these days. In countries like the USA, UK, many people are consuming in excess of 3,000, 4,000 calories a day and barely moving. I mean, it doesn't take Einstein to work out that is why many people out there have weight issues and metabolic health issues, type 2 diabetes. I mean, it's obvious right there that something is wrong, but fasting and time-restricted eating will help to tip the calorie balance in the right direction, but also to keep those insulin levels low, as I alluded to earlier. So a couple of caveats here. Again, I want to stress that if you're going to implement a strategy, do it very gradually. Make sure that you're able to do so. And if you suffer any symptoms like feeling dizzy, then obviously go and eat something. Make sure you stay hydrated. But also, women hormonally find it much more difficult to implement an intermittent fasting or time-restricted eating strategy than men. That's based on my own experience and many stories that I've heard and a lot of published research as well. Women will tend to find it harder to not eat first thing in the morning. So keep that in mind as well. And it could even be a different type of fasting strategy, maybe first meal early if you have to eat early, and then the last meal at 4 o'clock. I mean, it's still resting your body's metabolism for 12 hours plus. So that's what I wanted to talk about here. And for me personally, this has been a game changer. Not only have I surprised myself that I'm able to do this, I feel great. I feel energetic in the mornings when I'm fasting. And I believe it's done me a lot of good as well in many other ways. And this is backed up with a lot of research out there on metabolic health. And isn't it interesting, even if we look back at ancient writings, at even what is written in many religions about the therapeutic benefits of fasting? Our ancestors have known this for a long, long time. But sadly, the modern day culture is, and the way things work with food corporations and various myths that have been propagated, that you have to wake up, you have to eat 3 meals a day, you should eat before you get to work. I think that's all a load of nonsense. We don't have to do that. Anybody can train their body to eat in a certain way. It takes time, and use your own gut instinct as well. Many people out there who have instituted time-restricted eating, intermittent fasting, and they feel so much better. And if they have a health goal like weight loss, it's really worked for them as well. Another note I would like to add on what I eat as my first meal after a period of time-restricted eating, intermittent fasting, I go for a protein-rich meal. So if I'm at home and I can cook something like eggs, have that with feta cheese or avocado, I will do so. I will have some carbs. I'm not somebody who's zero carbs, but my main goal as a first meal after intermittent fasting is to optimize protein, as it is indeed with every meal anyway. All right, everybody, I hope that was helpful. Feel free to comment down below. Are you somebody who has tried intermittent fasting, time-restricted eating, or even done it for longer periods of time? Some people have benefits with fasting for 24, even 48 hours. I'm not suggesting that anybody do that, but I have heard a lot of people doing that, and it has worked very well for them for their unique health goals. All right, everybody, do check the links down below in the description for my website, all the other work I do, and my free newsletter. If you're not already signed up for that, why not? Please do so. Also, our natural supplement store, ohighwellness.com if you're in the USA, North America, ohighwellness.co if you're in the UK, Europe. Hit the like button if you like this video, the subscribe button for more similar videos in the future. That really helps with the algorithm and sharing these videos with as many people as possible. And if you enjoyed this video, you will also enjoy some of my other videos on how to optimize your metabolic health naturally. We will speak again very soon.